As they say, things are only heavy when you choose to pick them up. We don't realize that we are constantly putting unnecessary burdens upon ourselves all the time. It takes a lot of effort to carry a burden, but does it take any effort to not carry something? Does it take any effort to let go? Surely it takes a lot of effort to hold on. So why do we experience the feeling like we simply can't let go of these burdens? Why are we carrying this big bag of rocks on our shoulders that is constantly exhausting us and taking away our peace? How can we finally experience this peace and relief? As Jesus once said, "For all those who are heavy laden, come to me, and I will give you rest." And it is in this Christ consciousness that we find freedom. But first we must deal with the things that keep us from peace, from freedom. We should realize that the reason that we don't let go of these burdens that we place upon ourselves is because we have attachments. Attachments by definition means that something is stuck to us. Usually we get caught in what is called cognitive dissonance. One part of us wants to give something up, the other part of us wants to hold on. So we find we are at war with ourselves. This fighting, this inner turmoil is what is responsible for our lack of peace. One part of us wants to quit a certain addiction, another doesn't want to give it up. So we continuously betray ourselves and then beat ourselves up for not doing the right things. We add fuel to the fire of an already negative situation. We're so tired of carrying this big bag of rocks, and yet we continue to put in more rocks, making the burden heavier. We might even then get mad at ourselves for making the problem worse, therefore putting more rocks in the bag. You see, you can't gain peace by doing anything. Your peace is taken away precisely because you are doing too much. When the ocean is storming, there is massive waves, great winds, harsh rain. But when the ocean is calm, there is nothing. Only in stillness, only in silence, only in emptiness will you find peace. The first step is that you stop taking away your peace by going to war with yourself. You cannot have peace and war at the same time. Stop all the fighting, all the struggle. We often think we're doing the right thing by trying to help ourselves or fix ourselves, but often we just make the situation worse. You can't achieve greater stillness by doing more. You can only achieve stillness by not doing anything. You cannot have silence by talking more. You cannot have a quiet mind by thinking more thoughts. So when you continuously entertain the thoughts that you have, you are contributing to your lack of peace. We tend to always believe that the culprit is something outside of ourselves, something outside of our control, whether our negative thoughts, negative people, negative situations. But this is false. As Eckhart Tolle once said, the primary cause of our unhappiness is never the situation, but our thoughts about it. You see, thoughts, people, experiences, these things steal our peace because we give it away freely. And we give it away through our reactions. Our whole lives we have perpetually fallen into the habit of always reacting to everything. We're always getting pulled all over the place by people, by our thoughts, by our life situation. And this getting pulled all over the place is responsible for our lack of peace. You must become the eye of the storm. The moment you take your reaction away from anything is the moment it loses power over you. Just as how you've habitually trained yourself to react to everything, you also have to habitually untrain this behavior. The reason that this takes no effort is because non-reaction is literally the art of doing nothing. But when we react, we are doing something. The catch is that you will find that you continuously can't help but react to everything. And so you will have the experience that, oh, this is very difficult to undo. But you see, you can't really do nothing. Doing nothing is not doing anything. It's the opposite of doing. So whenever you become aware that you've reacted to something or that you've gotten triggered, don't add anything else onto it. Just become aware of the fact that you've been triggered. Be aware of the fact that you feel a lack of peace. Be aware of the storm and the chaos. By becoming aware of yourself, you naturally catch yourself giving your peace away. So the game is, you go out and live your life, and you get triggered by people, by thoughts, by experiences. Then there will be a certain period of time afterwards in which you realize that you have been triggered. When you begin, you might not realize at all. And then one time you catch yourself. Then the next time you get triggered, you may not become aware until an hour afterwards. Each time you become aware that you've had a negative reaction to something, the time that it takes for you to become aware next time decreases. You might then become aware only 30 minutes afterwards, then 15, then 5. Since I've been practicing this for a few years now, I immediately become aware and no time elapses. The moment any thought or trigger arises, it dissolves almost as quickly as it arose. I rarely experience any triggers and experience an everlasting peace that never leaves. Now I should mention that I arrived at this point because of the spiritual awakening that I had. And this awakening was that which led me to this practice, if you could call it that. You see, the reason that our peace is taken from us is because we identify with that which changes. The body changes, the mind changes, and so long as we have this personal identity, we will get pulled all over the place because we have attached ourselves to the changing, and the changing is always going all over the place. However, awareness is unchanging. Awareness is stillness, silence, emptiness. So the practice is that we continuously reaffirm our true place as awareness and take away our identity from that which changes, from the body, from the mind, from the ego, from the personal identity. Eventually we begin to stabilize in this place of awareness, and that is when the peace arises naturally. In truth, peace is our natural radiance. The problem is that our ego is constantly creating turbulence. This is why taking our identification away from the ego and placing it on awareness is key. The moment we stop feeding the ego identity and take away its fuel source, that is, our energy, our attachment to that identity begins fading slowly over time. Our mind is the tool that directs the flow of energy. So whatever we give our attention to, that is what gets our energy. This is why when you stop feeding your negative thoughts, they begin to dissipate. They are using your power against you. They get stronger and you get weaker because you are giving away your power. When you stop focusing on the negative aspects of your current life situation, they lose power over you. But when we're so caught up with fear and worry, we are constantly being drained of our energy and also at the same time creating a negative life for ourselves. People don't understand that this is how we get caught in terrible life situations or stuck forever, living unfavorable lives that aren't of our own choosing. We constantly reinforce a negative reality by giving negative things our attention. The more you take your power back, you grow more and more powerful to endure any life situation without needing to feed it your reaction. You can remain calm, steady, focused no matter what happens. You learn to remain in a state of peace even when the chaos of life is all around you. This energy that we have is also the force of creation, the force of life. So wherever we focus our attention, that is what we create and give life to. When we focus on problems, we create more problems. When we focus on negativity, we create more negativity. We get drained of all of our energy power and give it to forces outside of our control. We feel a slave, burdened to a life not of our own choosing, and never experiencing any peace. The moment you choose to take your power back, not only do you begin retaining your peace, but you gain the ability to create any life that you desire, because you take control of the creative power within you. The more power you get, the more able you are to not react. The more you are able to not react and give things your energy, the more powerful you get. And as you reclaim your power, you are no longer pulled in all of these different directions by forces outside of your control. You are able to easily and without effort remain in the state of awareness and are able to tap into the everlasting peace that is already present within you. It all begins with awareness, and then the process of taking your power back begins automatically. But you have to make the choice. You have to have the intention to become more aware of how you are allowing your energy to be drained. Where are you allowing your focus to go? You become aware of all the ways you're always reacting to thoughts, people, and experiences. As you become more and more aware, you realize how things are always taking away your peace and your happiness. You will soon start to feel better more and more often, and this will create a snowball effect in which you will become more invested in non-reaction. Eventually, this process becomes natural because awareness is your fundamental and natural state of being. Think about it. You are aware right now at this moment. Does it take any effort to be aware? Does it take any effort to observe your thoughts? Continue returning back to this state of awareness always. Use every triggering situation as an opportunity to return to awareness. In this state of awareness, you automatically create separation between you and whatever it is that you are aware of. In this separation, there is a space that you can call your safe space. And this space is what protects your peace. It protects you from all of your experiences. It's like the armor of God. If you imagine consciousness or awareness on this side, the mind right here, and the body over here, with the physical world and experiences happening on this side. When we remain in the state of awareness that is the transcendent state, no experiences have any effect over us. It is only when we get pulled into identification with form, with the mind or the body, does now the entire physical reality have jurisdiction over us. Only now do our thoughts begin to affect us and rub their negativity all over us. We become one with the mind, and if our mind is negative, we then feel and experience negativity. That is why separation is key. And we create separation by continuously returning to our place as awareness. So we get caught and triggered into identity, and then we return to awareness, and then triggered, and then return. And over time, you get triggered less and less and less, until eventually you stabilize in awareness in which the mind can do whatever it wants. It has no effect over you. Your situations in life can be whatever, and they will not pull you back into identity. Even if you get pulled back into identity temporarily, or if the ego arises and is really loud, you are still aware of that. So it doesn't make a difference what is happening in your experience. Awareness is always separate from that. It is only when we get pulled into identification with the mind or the body do we close the gap of space, and that is when we lose our peace. Because again, the mind is changing, it's all over the place. The body is changing, it's all over the place. But awareness does not change, it does not move. It is the only constant in your life other than change. You were the same awareness when you were born. You will be the same awareness when you die. You are the same awareness when you are in the dream state. And you are even the same awareness when you are in deep sleep. It is only your experiences that change. Peace is always here. You only need to return to awareness again and again and again. And as you continue, the great everlasting peace within you will begin to arise naturally.